Welcome to the Father's Table podcast. I am Victor Adeyemi, your host on this program, and I am excited today because it is a very special edition. This podcast is about my relationship with my sons and daughters, and I have them biologically and spiritually. But today, I have my biological daughter with me on the program. And this is number two among four adult children. She is an entrepreneur. She is a brand management consultant and managing director of Rosette Brew. This is her product. I'm holding in my hand some healthy, well brewed drink. I hope she tells us about it. Um, she's a mother of two. She's a wife and a mother of two. Welcome to Toyosi Oduyale to the Father's Table.
Thank you, Daddy. It's a pleasure to be here.
And I'm excited to have you on the show. I've looked forward to this particular edition,
Same.
and I'm sure some people out there will be happy about it because they have the opportunity to hear things they never heard from anybody because this is your daddy that you've known all your
Yep.
life.
Yep.
Okay, so I guess where we start from is to ask you, since you've to at least introduce yourself a little bit more. Yeah,
Okay.
let the viewer know you a little bit more before we dive into other matters of our relationship.
Okay. Well, my name is Toyosi Oduyale. Obviously no longer a DME. But yeah, I'm a wife. I'm a mom of two. I also am a brand strategy consultant. And with that, I own a company called the Y Brand. And we help you build your brand like a strategist, essentially, help you create and think like a strategist. We used to be very, very consulting focused, but recently we've moved more into products that can help people DIY their brand strategy. Just because the environment we're in, I started the Y Brand for entrepreneurs, small businesses. So I want them to be able to access that. And consulting was only a drop in the ocean. So that's one side of me. I have many facets. I say that I like to learn and to teach, and I build meaningful things. And Roselle Brew is one of those things. Thank you, Daddy. And yeah, that I started recently. I used to brew Zobo for my family, and just because I wanted much healthier options. And yeah, Roselle Brew is 100% natural goodness, good for you, naturally sweetened, no toxins and all of that. I feel like I'm talking too much about my businesses now.
It's your father's show. You can do anything you want on it.
But yeah, so that's what I do. Besides that, I really enjoy nature, enjoy building things, having meaningful conversations. And yeah, I really love family, and that's of course my husband and children, but also my parents and my siblings. And I think that's just because I had such a great upbringing, which I'm very excited to talk about today as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm really curious. As much as I know you and you know me, I'm really very curious to know how you would describe your upbringing. Yeah.
That's interesting. It's so funny that I think one of my friends, and I think I told you this when this happened, because she's in one of the churches of one of your spiritual children. And she was just like, yeah, I completely see. So we did our A levels together, and she was just like, Toya, we need to sit down and talk about your upbringing because I see why you were the way you were. Now that I'm a bit closer to, seeing your dad. And the way I describe it to everyone is that we were raised Christian first, literally. It wasn't, a lot of families are very, especially in Nigeria, very cultural, I was raised Yoruba culture,
Yeah.
all of that. Yeah, we had the respect, we learned all of those things. We grew up in Ibadan, so of course, but I think, especially now that I've grown up and I have better context, I can say with confidence that we were raised Christian first. So if anything around us, whether, in modern culture or traditional culture didn't align with the Bible. Like we weren't, it just wasn't introduced to us. And so myself and my siblings, we always have this thing where we tell each other, just understand that our upbringing was not Nigerian. No, don't think that you have some, Niger, that tradition, because there's a lot of things that are in the Nigerian context and even other cultures around the world that are not necessarily aligned with Christian values. And we were literally raised Christian first. But aside that, our upbringing, like I think even my siblings say that I look back at my childhood with rose tinted glasses because, yeah, upbringing was very happy. It was very loving. You and mommy were very intentional about how you raised us. Like there are lots of things that we knew from childhood that a lot of our friends were still confused about. Like when we talk, they're just like, "What are you talking about?" Talking about personalities and purpose, and they're just like, "Ugh, bro, we're talking about current affairs. We are here talking about purpose." It was super intentional, and I think now that I'm a parent, I appreciate that more than ever because I understand the importance of intentionality in parenting. And all of us were raised, there's four of us, three girls, one boy. Everybody was raised based on who they were. The Bible says, train up a child in the way that he should go.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, you and mommy got really right is that each of us, you knew our strengths, our weaknesses. Each person was raised according to who they were. There wasn't it wasn't this whole, everybody should be the same way.
Not
So
one size fits all
at all.
among you.
Yeah.
When we look at you today, you and your siblings, we
Yeah.
see a lot of camaraderie. We see oneness. I mean, you don't need to tell us. We know that apart from the family WhatsApp group and family iMessage group, you guys have yours.
Of course. Our siblings have siblings groups.
We do not smell competition.
Yeah.
Rather, you guys really stand by one another.
For sure.
Now that you're a parent yourself, what would you say was it about how we raised you guys that did not encourage competition, rivalry, that did
Yeah.
not, of course, there's normal sibling rivalry when kids are kids, but
Yeah. As
it never
children.
went beyond when you guys were kids.
Yeah.
Um, what was it about how we raised you that you think really made you guys turn out this way?
I think it's pretty much on the last point that I talked about, and that was that you looked at us as individuals and
Yeah.
not just our children. So like I know this happens in other homes where it's just like, oh, can't you see your sister?
Yeah.
Oh, can't you see your brother? Oh, can't you see? There was never any comparison
That's right.
from our parents, and that just made us appreciate who we were, and it really helped us have a healthy self-esteem. I just remember something funny when we were in secondary school. I think because a lot of people don't, in Nigerian culture, children are taught to be seen and not heard. And so because we were very confident, of course, because of the home we're coming from.
That's
And,
right.
people didn't understand that. So they just used to look at us like, who do you think you are? But yeah, I think it was the fact that, you and mommy raised us to be very confident in ourselves
Yeah.
and to understand what all of us had individually that was really great. So you used to praise our strengths
That's right.
and our gifts, and you say, you're good at this. Oh, you're very good at this. Oh, you're great at that and this. And there was just your presence at everything. If I was having Charlotte was great with dancing.
Oh, yeah.
And so like whenever she used to have like performances, there was a lot of encouragement on that end. I used to sing, I liked to read as well. Arnold was really great with math. Sharon was good with like a lot of science stuff. And so you used to call out our strengths and what we were good at.
Yeah.
And there was never any comparison. And so I think that just carried on till we were adults. And there was just a lot of us playing with each other as well.
Yeah.
There wasn't any, this person is the star of the family. There was nothing like that. So it was encouraged from childhood. And I think that was just a natural progression into our
So if
adulthood.
parents want their children to grow up united, standing by one another, not
Yeah.
in any petty rivalry, not bitter competition, then they should make sure that they identify the uniquenesses of
100.
each family,
Yeah.
of each child.
Yeah.
and accentuate it. And I
Exactly.
still remember a day I went for an open day. Yeah, I went for an open day with your younger ones, who are
Yeah.
twins, by the way, Sharon and Arnold. And the math teacher was
Oh
comparing
yeah, I remember that.
between
Oh
the
my
two of
gosh.
them, and telling one who got, I think, 90s in the subject and the other one who got 70s, about how, one is so playful. That's
Yeah.
why couldn't perform like the other one and so on. He just talked down, on that one. And I just put that one aside. I said, don't listen to that teacher.
Yeah.
Don't listen to that teacher. It's all a question of aptitude. You know how
100%.
that when it comes to kinetic intelligence, you are more
That was the
intelligent,
other
because
thing you guys
we
told us
taught
about. Yeah.
various types of
Yep.
intelligences in the family, and
Yep.
about 8 different types of
Yep.
intelligences. And then I also, reminded that one how artistically that one was better than the other.
Yep. Yep.
So I said, look, it's just mathematically, this one is
Everybody
just
has
better than
different
you.
gifts. Yep.
So, but you are also better in other areas. Don't let that affect your esteem
Nah.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
Your teacher was just speaking based on his own limited knowledge.
For sure.
Unfortunately, that teacher repeated it the day it was your
Mommy.
mom that went to open the.
Yeah, no, that's not going to go down well. And I think that's a good point as well because,
Yes,
you guys had such a good partnership
that's
as
right.
well. Like on one hand, you were more talking to the child and making sure that we understood our place. Like people will always talk, and that's fantastic coaching. Like from
Yeah.
the back, people will always talk. People will always say things. Know who you are, and don't let that affect you. Like sticks and stones. Mommy's approach was very, and I think that's also important, especially
Yeah.
when. For example, in this example, it's repeated
That's
from an
right.
external person. You have
That's
to
right.
advocate for your children.
Oh, yeah.
And so she did that fantastically well. I'll never forget when Charlotte was trying to get an internship as well and nobody was responding. Mommy said, yeah, you're going to stand up and we're going to dress up and go to that office, So the advocacy side of things is also very important.
Oh,
So
yes, we give her credit for that.
yeah,
And
there was a
so
fantastic
on
balance.
that occasion, she suddenly had to stand up to the
Yeah.
teacher to say, we're sorry, we do not compare our children.
Yeah.
And so please don't do that again. And
Yeah.
corrected the teacher who never did that anymore.
Yeah.
And we're proud of all of you today because you've all turned out well. You all finished
Yeah.
university with great grades, and you all are doing well in your various professions today, and
Yeah.
we're very proud of you guys. But
you.
I'm curious. Uh, is there that thing that you will say, "Oh, thank God for mommy," because it's wonderful when parents are aligned in values,
For
and your mom and
sure.
I are aligned in values as to how to raise you guys,
For
but
sure.
different in style.
Yeah.
So was there that thing that when you look back as a parent today who's parenting your own kids, you're like, oh, thank God for mommy. Mommy provided this other side to it, balance it. Left to daddy alone. I'm not sure it will have been upbringing will have been complete. Any attribute? Yeah,
I kind of already mentioned it already. Like, mommy
yeah,
is very fearless. Like,
that's right.
she's not, that is very diplomatic. So, whenever we had things in school, all of that, that is more exactly in the example you gave. Like, you're more
Yeah,
coaching from behind, like, okay, don't let that get to you. And there are some situations where mommy is just like, yeah, we're going to face this head on.
that's right.
Like I gave the example as well, Charlotte's internship, like there was a lot of that in our lives where she's just like, look, you have to be bold. You can't just, it's okay to, and these are, I think based on the, child psychology and parenting psychologists that I've been listening to recently, they talk about how the father is fantastic at doing social navigation and teaching you how to
Yeah.
socially navigate, which you have always been fantastic at,
Yeah.
and where the diplomacy comes in. But for mommy, there was a lot of her teaching us how to be confident and not to be afraid of anybody. Like, look, it's okay for you to speak your mind to your teacher. Of course, do it respectfully, but it's okay for you to say, this is what I want and I'm going to go for it.
That's right.
She just made us believe that was normal, which is why sometimes when we went to school, people just be looking at us that, how dare you? Like, where did you find this kind of energy? In secondary school, it didn't serve us well. Especially me, because I always got in trouble. But by the time we become adults now, it's
Yeah,
really serving us very
that's
well
right.
because we are not afraid to walk into any room or talk to anybody. We are
Mm-hmm.
not intimidated. And so, that's
Yeah,
a
I
great
must
one.
say personally, I admired that
Yeah.
about your mom. Her confidence was
Yeah.
something that I admired before I married her, and I think I was raised to be a little bit frightful and to trepidate. I was
Mm.
quite bashful, and I just looked at that about her and noticed it about her siblings, and I liked it.
Mm.
And I picked that was one thing I picked intentionally and said,
Yeah.
I'm going to join my wife to raise my kids this way. I'm going to make sure that they can look at me in the eye because I understand the way my father-in-law did it was by telling them all the time to look at him in the eye and speak their minds.
Yeah.
And he was quite a strict disciplinarian, but he will always say, look at me in the eye and tell me what happened.
Yeah.
And even in circumstances where naturally a child ought to trepidate, he wouldn't allow them to trepidate. You got a beating for shaking. And you will go like, wow, it's a human being talking to you and you are
It's not good.
shaking
Yeah.
and you are going to get a beating. And he was the one you were shaking for,
Yeah.
which was what many parents liked. But that way you raise children who are not confident,
Are
who
fearful.
will shake. If your children shake for you, they will shake for everybody else
Yeah, for
everywhere in
sure.
the world.
For sure.
If your children can stand confidently and express themselves to you, then they will stand up and express themselves to anybody, anywhere in the world. And I'm
Yeah.
very grateful today that my kids are not like their timid daddy. Their
That
daddy
decision worked
used
out
to
well
be
for you.
timid. This one worked out very well, and I'm so excited about the result of it because you guys are confident today.
Yeah, for
Let's
sure.
talk about discipline.
Mm.
Now, you have to discipline my lovely grandkids. At times, I don't want to see them disciplined. I just want to cuddle
Unnecessary.
those wonderful, lovely angels. Looking back at how you were disciplined,
Yeah.
was there any aspect of it that, if you look back today, you felt was probably overbearing, was too extended, and you are trying to find a balance today,
Mm.
or you just loved how we went about it, and you are repeating the same?
I think there are a lot of things to repeat.
Yeah,
Of course, nobody's perfect. So, but even aside perfection, like by the time you find your spouse, you want to see, okay, where's the middle ground? Because, like I said, I look back at my own childhood with rose tinted glasses. Like
hmm,
to me, like everything was fantastic, and I can see the results of a lot of stuff.
yeah,
So I think one of the things I think when it comes to discipline is that there was a lot of explaining what was unacceptable and giving
yes,
chances. So, for
yes,
example, you say, this is not acceptable, don't do it again.
yeah,
Strike two, you get, oh, this is unacceptable. I've warned you before. The
yeah.
next time it happens, this is what I'm going to do about it.
That's right.
And so when the hammer comes down, you're not surprised. So there was a lot of
You
preparing
knew
us
your
for
cup
that.
was full.
You already know. So I really enjoyed, of course, at the time I didn't enjoy the discipline. But like now as an adult, I'm seeing it and I'm just like, yeah, this makes sense. It's very in alignment with what a lot of psychologists say. And also I think one thing that I think at some point in my life I was like, why? Was you and mommy were very intentional. You curated our consumption quite a lot. So there was a lot of, we weren't allowed to watch MTV Base, Channel O, all
Yeah.
these channels. And in my mind, I'm just like, ugh. My friends watch it at home. I hear it when I go outside. So why are
Why
we
can't I
pretending here,
walk?
But then I see the benefit of that. And even
Hmm.
at home, with my own children, I'm trying to implement the same, like in terms of curating their content, because I
That's
feel like now it's
right.
even worse.
Oh, yeah.
Then we were limited to whatever channels were there or,
Mm.
whatever cassettes and VHSs we had. Now, like literally by the tap of a button from YouTube and Netflix, like
Yes.
I have to go to the back end and be blocking certain shows.
Mm.
But I learned that from you and mommy. Of
Yeah.
course, on one hand, obviously, Tolu is from a family where like he was more open growing up. So he's just like, allow them, like, don't let it be a thing where, they can't be themselves around you. Let it,
Yeah.
they'll hear it outside. So
Yeah.
like, so as parents, we're trying to find that balance,
That's right.
and I understand both sides. The way I grew up, I like it. But
Yeah.
like I also get, where he's coming from and where it's like allow them to be exposed so that they can even recognize this versus that. And the most important thing is that you're talking in their ear and telling them why this isn't so great and that is better. So yeah.
Talking about growing up with a sense of purpose, growing up with a sense of God sent you into this world with a God given assignment. I think one disappointment for me is that here you guys are, four grown up adults right now, and none of you is a pastor.
Oh, the dreaded topic.
I would have wished it was so, but at the
Yeah.
same time, your mom and I felt it was our responsibility to connect you guys to God
Yeah,
so that you can follow His direction
for sure.
for your lives. My fear is, was there anything about the pains of ministry that you guys saw, or the pains you had to go through as PKs, that is pastors' kids, that
This
might have
topic.
informed your dread of the work of ministry today?
Yeah.
Because I remember you and your sister saying, if anybody comes with the garb of a pastor, you won't marry the guy.
It's been from
I,
childhood.
I felt that one must have been from your traumatic
For
experiences
sure,
as
100%.
pastors' kids. So
Church hurt is deep, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this.
yeah,
And of course, there's this whole thing with the PK stereotype, and of course, there's no smoke without a fire. There's stereotypes for a reason. I think when it comes to doing ministry, of course, as we all grow, like in our Christian walk and understand the gospel more and the Great Commission, we all know that we all have a part to play. Ministry is not only for pastors. And that's why I tell everybody, I'm just like, there's other parts of ministry apart from pastoring. And all of us are finding our space in that. I think the thing with pastoring is, man, being a PK, whew, I think we had so much. I think on one hand, there's two sides to it. One hand is now that we're older and we've met other PKs and we
Yeah.
know what their experiences are, we're super grateful for how
That's right.
our own upbringing was, because you were very intentional. You and mommy were very intentional with making sure that there was family time.
Yeah.
That you spent a lot of time discussing with us, getting to know us individually.
Yeah.
The relationship that we had as a family was not sacrificed on the altar of ministry.
That's right.
And so I remember even up until when I was in Oxbridge, which was like A-levels foundation year,
Yeah.
you still used to drive us to school on some days.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember we had that practice of speaking in tongues in the car, having
That's right.
conversations and things like that. Like all those things were super important. And I know that there are lots of PKs who don't have the same experience.
That's right.
And I think those were some of the things that kept us, guarded, if I can put it like that, because a lot of people go off the rails. And the reason why is because there's so much pressure. There's so much pressure on PKs. People don't realize it. They're just like, you must be happy. I remember one time I went to take some exams, and this was shortly after we moved to Lagos. And some people at the exam saw me, and I think when we were going back home, it was Uncle Dari that was, he took me there. We were going back home. It was raining, so we gave two guys a ride. And when they found out who I was, they started freaking out in the car. Oh my God, what's he like? I'm like, guys, I think people just think, oh, you have it fantastic because your dad is this person. And I'm just like, you don't know the pains that come with that. It's the same way that people look at like politicians or celebrities or whoever it is, even pastors, and they don't know the pains that pastors go through. Like we growing up, we knew you were on call 24/7. You guys were like doctors.
Yeah.
Like I will never forget, there was one time in Ibadan, there was someone, a church member who was having serious difficulty at home. And this was almost midnight. Mommy had to leave the house at midnight to go to her house.
Yeah.
Our house was open for everybody. We couldn't have our friends over. There were always people coming for counseling and always guests. There were so many people who lived at our house. People don't see that side of things. So there's that side of things internally. Just caring. A pastor is a carer. And that's something that I really admire in your mommy. I don't know that I have the bandwidth for it. I think I've paid my dues. But that's something that it takes a servant as a PK. It takes a servant's heart to do that, but it takes a toll like on your family because like there's just always people in your space. So I couldn't bring my friends over. I always had to go to my friends' houses. But on the other side of things, especially when we were in Ibadan, oh gosh, everybody in Ibadan knew who you were. We couldn't go out without people saying, is that not Victor Adeyemi's children?
Yeah.
And even in our secondary school, people knew you. And so we got harsher punishments for that. Yeah. So I remember if there were noisemakers in the class, you saying, you call yourself a pastor's daughter. I'm like, but I didn't give myself the title of pastor. I didn't ask to be a pastor's daughter. I hear noisemakers, everybody's getting 3 strokes of cane. You will get 5 and you have to turn your hand upside down. Like,
Because you're a pastor's daughter.
so much persecution,
So there was
that I didn't ask for.
So the expectations were high.
Very high.
The pressure on you guys were a lot, as it were.
Yeah.
And I just want to plead on behalf of pastors' kids. Please let kids be kids. They are just normal children.
Just normal children trying to
They
figure
don't
out
have a
life
special
too.
anointing
Yeah.
from God to be pastors' children
Yeah.
and to perform exceptional. I still remember, Charlotte fasting, was that the age of 6 or so? And somebody says,
primary
well,
school.
I was not surprised. She's a pastor's daughter. And
It's not about
inside me, I was
daughter.
going to say, wow. So you mean when somebody's a pastor's daughter, she has an anointing to fast?
Special
It's
anointing.
discipline. She
Yeah.
did not take breakfast and lunch at the age of 6. And even for us as parents, we didn't find it funny. It was just
Yeah.
because it was her choice to do that.
For sure.
We should just all realize that they are normal human beings. Please. So please
Yeah.
take the pressure off your pastor's kids and allow them to be children. But it is my hope that we have encouraged your relationship with God enough that
100%.
if someday the call of God comes so clearly to say, oh, I'm demanding for you to be a pastor,
Yeah.
you will not say, no,
Yeah.
I'm going to disobey you, oh God.
No. I think we had too much of a good foundation
That's
for
right.
that. And I do have to say this because like it's very different from a lot of people's experience.
Yeah.
Like you and mommy are more focused on our spiritual health
Yeah.
as your metric. For a lot of people is, oh, do you go to our church?
Yeah.
For you guys, it's not, it's about how connected are you with God, and you care more about our spiritual health, and that's something that's not common.
That's
And I
right.
really have to appreciate you for that because the pressure is a lot on some other people, and
Yeah.
you're just so focused on our spiritual growth and our spiritual health. Of course, you'd like for us to be in ministry. You'd like for
course.
us to be
Of
pastors.
course.
But like you really understand that God is taking everybody on an individual journey, and we're still on our journey, and I just really appreciate that. It's not a privilege a lot of PKs have. So
Thank you very much for all the compliments. We are truly excited. But you can be sure that your mom and I do wish we did better. Because for us as parents, you're always asking yourself the question, what could I have done better? What could I have done better? Did I connect them strongly enough with the Lord?
You
Did
did.
I, maybe if we had sent them to another school, they would be more
no, I'm grateful we didn't go to
fire
a
for
Christian
God
university
and
because that's where I found God for myself.
let's talk about that because
Yeah.
it scared your mom and I for a moment when yourself and your sister came back from UK and you were thanking us for the sacrifices of being able to send you to school there.
Yeah.
And then you were like, well, one thing we want to thank God for was because we found God for ourselves.
100%.
And we're like,
it was
found
such a
God for
gift.
yourselves.
Yeah.
You knew God. You've been born again since you were a child. To talk about going through that place of deciding to check whether what your parents taught you was true,
Yeah.
where you opened up yourselves to learn more, about other religions, learn about other people's persuasions and so on. Yeah.
100%. I think, and that's why we had to mention that when we came back, because it was so, and honestly, like you say, where could we have done better? Of course, there's always room for improvement everywhere. Like there's no human being, but in all honesty, you guys did really well. I know,
Thank you.
Nigerians will say you can't call your parents you guys, but this is the relationship that we
That's
have.
what they call
But
us. This Gen Z generation of millennials or whatever.
millennials.
They call us, these millennials, they call us you guys.
But you and mommy did that fantastically well. Speaking about finding God for ourselves, I think it's super important. I tell people all the time, I'm like, it's super difficult for PKs to be real Christians. And this is what I mean by that, because it's almost like an expectation of you already from childhood.
Wow.
And so by the time you become an adult, you kind of want to rebel, which is why we have the PK syndrome, right? You go so far left because you've always known this all your life, all your life. And, by the time we got to uni, it was such a breath of fresh air. Nobody was watching me.
Wow.
Nobody knew who my father was.
Oh.
Nobody and here I was like, okay, now I can start to
And if you had
explore
gone to a
faith for
Christian
myself.
university in Nigeria, it would have
It
been
would
a
have
different
been a
story.
continuation of
There would be
secondary
people
school.
who knew you. Oh,
Exactly.
yeah.
And the pressure would still be there.
Yes.
But when we went to uni, nobody knew us.
Wow.
In fact, at first, of course, I was homesick. I first went to a Nigerian church and then I was like, and then somebody found me out and I was just like, oh God. And I had to leave. And I went to a white church where nobody knows me. And it was there that I could actually pay attention in church, because I'm not that I'd been paying attention from time, from children's church,
but
everything
now
I'd done.
you weren't self-conscious.
I wasn't
in any way?
self-conscious. Nobody was looking at
You
me.
just be
Nobody
yourself.
was, and I
No
was just
pressure.
there, and I could just absorb everything without eyes on me. And that was when I started to question. I started to understand certain things, do my Bible study for myself. I got baptized even then as well, because nobody was watching me. When you're in your father's church or your parents' church, if you go out for altar calls, it's like, what are you doing, girl? Like, don't you have enough deliverance at home, But like here, I could just be.
Oh my God.
And so it really allowed me the freedom to explore my faith for myself. And I know it was the same experience for Charlotte and Arnold and Sharon. And, for all of us, we were really, really able to like just explore Christianity and question as well. Imagine if we were in church and everybody knows who your father is and you're saying, well, did Jesus really die on the cross? They're just like, did your parents miss road somewhere? Like, I could question, because questioning is very important for conviction. Like if you are going to be a solid Christian, you must question it. You must compare it. You must put it against other things and say, does this still stand? And I was able to do that without pressure, in university. So yeah,
amazing,
for sure.
amazing. So looking back today, according to what you are saying, we didn't do a bad job at all.
At all, you did excellently well, excellently.
So it makes it look like you are passing on the torch to your children, our grandchildren right now.
Yeah.
And we are truly excited about that. We've seen your intentionality. I must mention that
Thank you.
on this
Thank you,
podcast,
Daddy.
that you are doing a very great job. We're
Thank
excited about how intentional you are about their nurture. And that's their spiritual nurture, their social nurture is
Yeah.
also another
Thank you,
good
Daddy.
one. And we have no doubt about it that you will turn out very, very well. They will turn out
Daddy.
very well also by the grace
Yeah.
of God.
Amen.
And we can continue to keep this legacy going on and on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm already being told by my producers that we are out of time. And so we know we have to do this again, because we have a
For
whole lot
sure,
more
yeah.
to talk about our family life. But I do hope you've enjoyed having Toyosi Oduyale, second biological doctor of Jumoke and Victor Adeyemi, on the
Yes,
podcast
for
today
sure.
on the My Father's Table. And thank you,
Thank you for having
particularly
me,
for all
Daddy.
you guys do in the background to see your parents succeed in ministry. Thank you for your support for us and even for this podcast. And thank you very much. And Roselle, this is Roselle Brew here. And it's a great business. We trust in God to bless it, increase it, enlarge
Amen.
it, and that God
Amen.
will continue to also bless you as a wife, as a
Amen.
mother,
Amen.
an entrepreneur, and a brand management consultant. Well, there it is. You've heard it all, and it is not scripted. It wasn't scripted, and it was not an attempt to pull a wool over your eyes, but we do hope opening the curtains of our family and letting you see a little
For
bit
sure.
into us. You have learned one or two lessons
Yeah.
today. By the grace of God, same time next week, we'll be dropping another episode of The Father's Table. Please be sure to subscribe to this channel. Very, very important to us. Please subscribe, like this particular episode, and we welcome your feedback. Tell us about the things that are blessing you. Just comment about them. Tell us about what you don't like so we can learn and be better. And tell us what you want us to talk about.
Yeah.
We look forward to engaging with you in more meaningful ways as we go on this podcast. So for now, this is where we call it a day. God bless you. Bye bye.